Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to the ENSO update for July 2020. So this will be the penultimate ENSO update of this year. We have been doing monthly ENSO updates since January. And we've just got two more to do, this one and next month. Next month will be the final ENSO update of this year, because from September we will be starting the winter updates from the beginning of September, and of course that means that we sort of we merge the ENSO updates with winter updates, because ENSO is always a very important factor within our winter updates and forecasts. So yeah, we've only got one more ENSO update to do after this one, and then we are on into winter update season. Just tells you how late into the year we are getting now that we're talking about coming to the end of the ENSO updates. But we've still got this one, and we've still got next month's to do, so I'll get on that for you very shortly. Just to say, it's been a busy day at Gasworthy's today. We started off with the European Outlook. We did Germany Friday, of course, always on a Friday, with month-end look ahead, and a 10 to 14 day video as well. So yeah, it's the fourth video that we've released today. I hope you're enjoying all of the content. Please give us a like on all the videos, and let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Okay then, so we're going to begin as always with the cold and warm episodes by season chart from CPC, NCEP and NOAA. This is depicting all El Nino and La Nina events going all the way back to 1950. So we've got these negative blue numbers. That's where we've got La Nina, and where we've got the positive red numbers, that's where we've got El Nino. So for example, in 1953 and 1954, we have an El Nino event, albeit quite a weak one, that reverses then in 1954 to 1955 into initially a weak La Nina, but then that does actually power up to quite a strong La Nina for the following winter of 1955-1956. El Nino is red, warming of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, and La Nina is blue, cooling of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. Black is neutral, by the way, so that's when we're neither within an El Nino or a La Nina event. That is kind of like what we call ENSO neutral, where we're somewhere in between. Okay, let's move down to 2020 then. So, of course, you know what happened through 2019-2020. We have our weakest La Nina, El Nino, I should say, event on record, with these red numbers just here. The weakest recorded El Nino for winter 2019-2020. It's reversed now and gone back to ENSO neutral. So the last two tri-monthly periods bring an end to that weakest El Nino on record. March, April, May comes out at just 0.3, and April, May, June comes out at 0.0. That really is truly ENSO neutral there, with an anomaly of 0.0 for April, May, June. We wait to see where we're going to go through the rest of this year, as these numbers are placed in the boxes just here. I suspect they will become more negative. We will see negative numbers appearing, and the question will be whether we have enough negative numbers, to see them go blue, to go into La Nina and over the required tri-monthly periods. There is quite strict criteria to get to either an El Nino or a La Nina. For El Nino, you have to be like half a degree or more above average. For La Nina, you have to be half a degree or more below average. And you have to do it over 5 tri-monthly periods as well. So sometimes we can get a situation where we get sort of 3 or 4 numbers that reach required threshold, but not the 5th, not over the 5 tri-monthly period, and in that case we just stay ENSO neutral. So we shall have to wait and see where that's going, but certainly like the El Nino event, the weakest El Nino event on record for 2019-20, reversed through the spring, then went into ENSO neutral. We are probably now moving into a weak La Nina. This is how the sea surface temperature anomalies looked when we did last month's ENSO update. So of course, ENSO events are the cyclical warming and cooling of the equatorial Pacific Ocean from Peru, just there, home of Paddington Bear, of course, and Indonesia over here. So, as I say, that's how things look with sea surface temperature anomalies last month. So, we see that last month we did have a signal for La Nina, a cold event in the eastern part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. We had colder than average sea surface temperature anomalies through there. This is the latest in terms of the sea surface temperature anomalies. You see how the colder than average anomalies are sort of spreading out now along the equatorial Pacific Ocean. So the coldest anomalies to average are still over here in the eastern part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. But we are seeing these cold anomalies just gradually spreading out now through the equatorial Pacific Ocean. It's a weak signal. It's a weak La Nina event, this, but we can see that over the past month, clearly there has been some spreading of those cold and average sea surface temperature anomalies from east to west through the equatorial Pacific Ocean. So that does look like a pretty classic signal now for a weak La Nina. It is weak. It's not a moderate event. It's certainly not a strong event. It's a weak La Nina signal that we've got there now through pretty much all ENSO regions. Subsurface temperature anomalies are looking like this. So again, you have to think this is like the surface of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. Just here, we've got Peru there. We've got Indonesia over here. And these are the depths of the Pacific Ocean, of course, going all the way down to 300 meters. Right then, so over in the eastern part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, we do have cold and average subsurface temperatures pretty much from the surface down to around 150 meters. It is colder than average through there. Otherwise, though, not a great deal of support for this weak La Nina at the moment, although there is another area of cold and average subsurface temperature on there in the central part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, between around sort of 100 and 150 meters, probably. So a little bit colder than average through there, but otherwise not a great deal of support at the moment, subsurface-wise, for this La Nina. That's quite a change on what we were seeing with the subsurface temperature anomalies at the start of June. This is how they looked at the start of June. You see, we had a much larger area of colder than average subsurface temperature anomalies there. But over the past few weeks, this is 17th of June, over the past few weeks, these anomalies have just been weakening slightly. This is the 17th of July, just again showing a slight weakening of those subsurface temperature anomalies. That's how we look right now. So maybe that's strengthened a little bit, actually. This is 22nd of July. From the 17th of July, maybe that has gone a little bit colder just then. And we do still have support for it over in the eastern part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean as well, with the subsurface temperature anomalies. In the far western part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, it is a little bit warmer through there subsurface wise, but generally the Pacific looks like it's still moving towards a weak La Nina event to me. Southern Oscillation Index is looking like this. So this is an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state in the South Pacific. Not driving anything in its own terms. It just tells what the atmosphere is doing. When the SOI is measuring air pressure between Darwin and Tahiti, and this is at Queensland Government, by the way. So when the SOI, the Southern Oscillation Index, is in a negative phase, then the atmospheric setup will be reflective of El Nino. When the SOI is in a positive phase, then the atmospheric setup, again, remember it's measuring air pressures between Darwin and Tahiti, the atmospheric setup will be reflective of La Nina, a cold event. So to get these events really spiraling off and powering up, you have to have both the ocean and the atmosphere kind of coupling with one another. So how we stand at the moment? Well, earlier on in July, we did see really strong positivity of the SOI, actually. So we've got the 21st of July here coming out at plus 14.71. These are preliminary, but they don't tend to change all that much. 22nd of July coming out at plus 13.54. 23rd of July coming out at plus 16. 24th of July comes out at plus 20. 25th of July comes out at plus 19. 26th of July comes out at plus 6. Those are all numbers markers that tell us that the atmospheric setup was reflective of La Nina during those days. But most recent days have got a little bit negative. So yeah, for like 25th of July we're still at plus 19, 26th of July we're at plus 6, 27th of July we're at plus 1, 28th of July at plus 3, but 29th of July actually goes slightly negative to plus 1.23, and 30th of July actually goes really significantly negative at minus 17.85. So on the 30th of July, the atmospheric setup was reflective of an El Nino type scenario. But overall, I think the trend with the SOI is more in towards positive territory. We see this within the 30-day average, which is this red line. So back at the start of July, 30-day average was down here for the SOI. Now the 30-day average is up here, albeit because of this last negative day, slight tick down. But generally the SOI is in weekly positive territory now, as opposed to being weekly negative during the early part of July. So it does look as though the 30-day SOI average has shifted into a more positive phase. 90-day average isn't moving as much. That doesn't move as much. It'll take longer for that to start ticking up, but eventually that should also start moving upwards as well. Okay, so let's do some forecast models then, starting off CFS V2. So, of course, all the way through this year, right from the very first ENSO update back in January, the CFS V2 was forecasting but we will go into a weak La Nina through this spring and on into summer. It's been predicting this since January. And we do slate the CFS V2 a lot online and in the videos and elsewhere. CFS V2 has quite a poor reputation. But I have to say on this has been an incredible forecast from the CFS. It's never wavered on this weak La Nina. And it got the signal here well before other models did as well. So, credit where credit's due. I do criticise CFS a lot, I have done over the years, but credit where it's due. The CFS forecast for this La Nina has been pretty incredible, and no backtracks over the past month. The CFS is still going for a weak La Nina event. The current position is up with somewhere sort of around here now, so just about getting towards a La Nina threshold. The black dash line is the ensemble mean. That's going more negative as we go into the autumn, reaching the peak for this La Nina event somewhere just under 1 degree below average around December, as usual. So that's solidly a weak La Nina for the autumn and the winter 2020-21. Weak La Nina for this coming winter. And then the black dash line ensemble mean is trending back up as we go into next spring. Of course, we'll be returning back to ENSO neutral then, and then we wait to see where we go for 2021 during the summer and on into the remainder of the year. But yeah, CFS very, very solid with the prediction. Best temperature on the side, date smoke periods on bottom. Very solid still going for this week El Nino, and has been incredibly consistent forecast from the CFS. This is how CanSIPS is looking. So this is from tropicaltidbits.com. This is showing us the sea surface temperature anomaly. So this is pretty good forecast, I think, for July. This is how it was forecasting things to look through this July. Pretty good forecast. Really cold average over into the eastern part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, and then like a very weak La Nina signal stretching out further into the rest of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. Next month we look like that, so a strengthening, a deepening of the La Nina signal is predicted to take place through all ENSO regions, but particularly through the central ENSO regions next month. So that firmly then takes us into La Nina. That's still a weak La Nina, but it is firmly into a La Nina next month. Again, all ENSO regions seeing a deepening, strengthening of the La Nina signal. That goes on into September too. Again, probably a further strengthening of the La Nina signal in September, particularly through here. So CanSIPS is forecasting this La Nina to get stronger through the rest of summer and into the autumn. And then, of course, it goes on through the autumn. Probably this is reaching moderate La Nina threshold, actually. It's probably a little bit strong what the CFS is doing with the sea surface temperature anomalies through this autumn. On the temperature scale, it's really quite difficult to see how far we're going on the temperature scale, but I think we're probably going to around 1.5 degrees below average, somewhere around here on the temperature scale. Let me know in the comments how cold do you think that's going, but I think that's going to like 1.5 degrees below average, so somewhere around there on the colour scale. 1.5 degrees below average does get us into a moderate La Nina, so Can 6 is a little bit stronger, I think, with the La Nina. With the La Nina event through this autumn, going into sort of weak to moderate La Nina territory. ECM is looking like this, so also go for a weak La Nina. This is the ensemble plume from the ECM WF. So again, we've got temperature on the side, dates are on bottom in monthly periods. So where we're starting off at right now is somewhere around here, cold side of NSO neutral to borderline La Nina by sort of September, which is just there. The ensemble plume looks like it's around here, so that is going into weak La Nina thresholds, I think. So yes, well, of course, we've got some outliers up here, but a little bit warmer, more around NSO neutral. 1 or 2 down here, going like into a moderate La Nina territory. But the broad thrust of the ensemble plume is through here. And that's taking us into a weak La Nina territory, and that carries on then in towards the autumn as well. By the time you get through to the winter, of course, have a lot more spread, but even then, probably still on the weak side of on the weak side, I should say, of La Nina. That's how it looked last month. So I think this has been a further strengthening of the weak La Nina signal over the past month with the ECM. You have Jamstec, looks like this. So again, going for a weak La Nina with Jamstec 2, temperature anomalies on the side, dates are along the bottom. So current position is at somewhere around here, just about reaching La Nina threshold. As we go through the rest of summer into the autumn, through there, we're at that sort of half a degree or more below average, so somewhere between half a degree and 1 degree below average with Jamstec through the rest of summer and into the autumn. That is a weak La Nina being predicted there. That is a further increase in the La Nina signal from last month. That's how it looked last month, back in June. That's how it looks this month. So yeah, I think it's a little bit stronger with the La Nina signal. That's how it looked in May. So in May, it was not seeing this. It was not seeing this La Nina at all back in May. In a couple of months, it has shifted quite a lot. CFS have been predicting this since January, so a much better forecast and a much better job from the CFS compared to Jamstec, for example. And then finally, we've got UK Met. So again, this is showing this Grossy 5. This is showing sea surface temperature anomalies. So this has always been a little bit stronger with this La Nina event. We see it just here for August, September, October. Forecast is going for like a moderate to, on the scale, possibly going towards quite a strongish event, actually, possibly going like from 1.5 to 2 degrees below average. That's getting quite strong with this La Nina if UK Met is right. So a real powering up taking place there. Let's see if we can find the, there we go. So this is months 3 to 5, September, October, November. Again, possibly the La Nina signal is powering up further in this tri-monthly period too. That is quite a strong La Nina that's being predicted there. And the tri-monthly period is October, November, December. And again, moderate to strong La Nina being predicted through the eastern and central part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. So, I mean, it's a clear-cut signal, isn't it? And the signal is definitely towards La Nina, as it has been over the past few updates, really. So we've got sea surface temperature anomalies solidly towards a weak La Nina signal. There's a great deal of support subsurface-wise at the moment, but I think we'll see that changing over the next few weeks. And SOI is kind of shifting into a more positive phase, so the atmosphere is also moving towards a more La Nina type setup. All of the modelling now is going for a La Nina. The only question, the only thing to be firmed up on is how strong a La Nina. You're going to get anything from like a weak La Nina which is CFSV2, to something really quite strong, which is CAN 6 of a UK Met. And anything in between, but it looks like we are into landing now, really, and I suspect we will find that this coming autumn is going to be a landing autumn, a developing landing autumn, and the winter of 2020-21 I think is looking pretty solid to be a landing in winter. The question is whether it will be a weak landing in winter or whether it will be a little bit stronger, and of course we will sort of talk about that a lot more when we do the winter updates. But yeah, La Nina definitely looks like it's developing, and I don't think anything really can stop it now. So La Nina for the rest of this year, it looks like it's the way we're going to go. Right, we're going to do one more ENSO update for you next month. That will be on the last Friday of August. Now, I think, well, if memory serves correct, it's probably going to be the 28th. Probably going to be Friday the 28th of August. The next day, Saturday the 29th, I think we're doing the last season 1 rounder for the autumn of 2020, and then the following day after that, Sunday the 30th, we will be releasing the GalesWeather's autumn forecast. Once all of that is out of the way, then we are into winter updates, and the first winter update will begin on Sunday the 6th of September, and because of that we will be stopping the ENSO updates for the rest of the year, as we would just be repeating ourselves if we did an ENSO update as well as winter updates, because it's all looking at the same thing, really. So yeah, we're on our way towards the winter updates, but one more ENSO update to go, and that will be released on the last Friday of August. If you enjoyed this video, then please give us a like, let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure you subscribe to GalesWeather's YouTube channel, and we'll be back with more content very soon. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.